Hello and welcome to the Property Pilot. So today we're talking about 15 ways to make money from property investing. Okay, so welcome back. Today we're talking about 15 ways you can make money through investing in property. And I've been brainstorming these 15 different strategies. A lot of them I use myself personally. And the first two we're going to talk about really account for the majority of reasons why people get into property. So without further ado, the first way to make money through investing in property is obviously through receiving the rents. So having that rental income make you money. Now, how does this work? So a tenant pays you rent. Throw some rough figures out there. Let's say they pay you £700 per month for a property and your mortgage costs are £350 minus your maintenance, and you walk away with about £280–300 per month. Now, of course, there are different types of properties that you can purchase. Somewhere you'll be generating far more net profit on a monthly basis, others slightly less. So let's come on to the second strategy on how to actually make money from property, and that's through capital appreciation. It's why a lot of people get into property, and this is where we buy property because the value of that stock and that asset we're purchasing is going to increase over time in the medium to long term. So I'm talking kind of 5 to 20, 30, 40 years. I'm not talking on a 6 or annual basis. So people get into property to build legacies and to build portfolios that they can hand down to their children. And they can do that through utilizing and benefiting from capital appreciation. Okay, the next way to make money in property, which is quite advanced, something that I do and have had really good success, is title splitting. What on earth is title splitting? Well, this is when you buy, say, maybe a freehold property and you split it up into little bits. So maybe you're portioning off some land to sell, or maybe you're buying a freehold block of flats and you're actually splitting off the individual flats onto leaseholds and having one freehold as the whole building, and you can profit from actually doing this because either you're selling the leaseholds or you're getting these leaseholds valued at a higher rate rather than what they would be as one single freehold. So title splitting is great for adding value. It's a far more active method of investing in property. It takes some time, but the nice thing about it, it's mostly paperwork. Less hammer and nails and getting your hands dirty. It's mainly paperwork. So if that suits you, do consider title splitting. Okay, so number 4 is you can make money in property through obtaining planning permission. So once you've gained such permissions, generally speaking, the value of that land or property, whatever that is you've gained the permission for, is higher than what it was before without any of those permissions in place. So obviously you've generated this huge value to this property or to this land by having planning permission. So consider actually looking for plots of land or properties that you think you can add value to by obtaining planning permission and either developing them yourselves, which we'll come on to very shortly, or selling it on to a developer. Okay, number 5, buy below market value. Easier said than done, but nowadays it's going to be actually easier to do this. As I film this, we're in the kind of middle of November 2022. The market is decreasing slightly, so that means there's better chances to get a really good deal. But if you buy below market value, it's an incredible way to make money in property because you've got so many options once you actually complete on that purchase. You could sit back and let the capital appreciation roll in, which a lot of people do, or you could flip it on, which come on to another strategy very soon. Okay, I think this is number 6. I've lost count. Developing property. What a perfect way to make money in property if you're actually developing, putting in all that hard effort and that grind and ending up with a beautiful, beautiful property. So this could be something really small. It could be you just buying a house, maybe you're just giving it a lick of paint or some new carpets, or it could be maybe a brand new development. You're building a new build property or a block of flats or something like that. And obviously you're making money through that development process because maybe you're paying somewhere up to here to develop the property and you can sell it to up to here and you can pocket that difference. So developing is a really good way to make money in property, and especially for those who have very good trades knowledge and the skill set themselves. You don't necessarily need the money. If you've got that skill set, partner up with someone who's got the money and you can make that happen. Okay, number 7, houses of multiple occupancies. A great strategy in terms of making money in property, and this is how I got started, and the reason why it's such a great strategy is this gives you a really good return on your investment. Okay, it's going to take you a bit more time, it's going to be a bit more hassle and stress, but it's a great way to generate an income in property and make some really good money. Now, houses of multiple occupancy can be in various forms. It could be a student HMO, so you're letting it to students on an academic basis, or you could be renting to young professionals professionals or employers within those areas. So, work out what your target is, work out which location you want to be in. And if you haven't already watched my video on all around C3 to C4 within areas that are soon to be swallowed up by Article 4, it's a very amazing strategy that no one is talking about on YouTube and has made me £100,000 plus so far. I highly recommend you to do that. Have a look in my videos. Okay, I think this is number 8. Consider buying a business that has a freehold property attached to it. Again, a very niche strategy here, but one that can really pay dividends. So if you're buying a business, maybe you actually know what that business is, or I don't know, you've got a purpose for that business, but it comes with an amazing freehold property. Maybe this freehold property hasn't really been utilised to its potential, or maybe it needs significant works, or maybe it's putting a lot of people off because a lot of people don't want that business. Maybe you can, dispose of this business using another means, and really the only reason you want this business or this opportunity is because of the property that comes along with it. So how to do this? Sign up to all the mailing lists to the local companies in your area who buy and sell businesses. Also, have a look at Rightmove. You can filter by commercial, and there are a lot of agents that list businesses for sale under the commercial element on Rightmove, and have a look if their building and their freehold property is included in the sale. Number 9, how to make money through property is by buying at a discount off plan. So prior to a building or a block of flats or whatever it is, a standalone property being completed, you could buy off plan. So you're directly with the developer, you're negotiating directly, and you can get a really good discount. And again, this is a great way to make money in property, especially over the long term and when you factor in capital appreciation. And there's no better time to do this than right now. As I said, this is being recorded in November 2022. Prices are falling and developers are getting nervous. Think about the interest rates they're shortly going to have to pay once their finance comes to an end. So they're going to want to do a really good deal with you, and they're going to be more willing to give you a discount on a brand new property that's due for completion or being built very soon. Okay, the next way to make money through property is via serviced accommodation. This is where you're accommodating people on short stays. Maybe someone's on business in your local area for a couple of nights and they need somewhere to stay and they pay on a nightly rate. Maybe you could have a contractor that's working in your area for a few months and again they need some form of short-term accommodation. So have a think about where you want to invest. It could be along the coast, Airbnb, if you picture an Airbnb type accommodation, or it could be in the city centre accommodating for people on business and weekend trips and things of that nature. Okay, next way to make money in property is through rent to rent. This is where you take on a property, maybe you're taking it on for a 3, 4, 5 year lease and you're renting it on to someone else. Now you're actually taking out this lease slightly below market value, and the reason why the landlord is willing to accept this is because irregardless of voids, you're going to pay them. They've got that certainty and guarantee that they're going to get the rent every single month, but you're letting it at market rate and you're going to pocket that difference yourself. Now this isn't something that I do personally, but again, it's a great way to get it started in property if you don't have that much money. So the next way to make money through property is via options, securing property via options, and these are absolutely great, and there's so many different types of options. I mean, this is a topic for another video, but it could be something like securing a property with an option, and this is where you can legally purchase this property. In the option you can state how many years you want this to last for, but it's an option, so you don't actually have to. So let's say if you agree to buy a property at £100,000 today, and the value of that property goes up, say 10% in the future or 20% in the future, well, you can still purchase that property for £100,000. So again, really good way to secure property. Now, how I like to do this is by planning permission. So I can purchase someone's land or someone's property, and I can secure that with an option, and if I get the planning I want, I can exercise that option and purchase that property. The next way to make money in property is via investing in commercial property. A great way to make some serious amounts of money in property. Commercial property, again, depending on the nature, requires a different skill set and a different amount of time. Are you putting together offices and business centres? Maybe you're letting individual offices. I've got a great friend that does that and he makes a lot of money doing that. Or are you buying industrial units and renting those out on a long-term lease? So consider commercial property. Typically speaking, if you're leveraging in this game, the finance costs are slightly higher, but again, it's a great way to make money through property. Okay, so the next way to make money through property is through buying, refurbish, and refinancing. Now, again, this is all over YouTube, and you can find lots of people talking about this kind of strategy. But essentially, it's where you're buying at a good price, you're refurbing the property and adding value, and then you're refinancing it at that new value, or even you could sell it on. So there are lots of different ways how to do this, and there are lots of different scales on how you can actually approach this. So essentially, you're buying a property, you're doing some work to it to increase that value, value, and then you're changing your finance slightly. So imagine if you purchased it with a bridge, you'd be moving off a bridge onto a standard mortgage, or maybe you bought it with cash and you're actually just financing it in the end of the standard mortgage. Lots of options here. Okay, now the most obvious option to make money through property is through buying and selling. So you're trading or you're flipping property. It's something that I do a little bit. Great way to make money, but you want to be careful about how you actually do this. You know, obviously as I record this video now in November 2022, the market is decreasing slightly. So it's not the best time to be flipping property. But saying that, if you can get a really good deal, then again, you've got a nice margin of safety. You're de-risking that particular strategy, and it's one that you can actually make some money from. This is a very popular strategy in growth periods and boom periods because it's very hard not to make money because prices are appreciating on an annual basis by 5 and 10%. So really, you don't have to do that much to actually make the money. Right, I'm going to give you an extra one. I know I said it was 15, but there's one extra way of actually making money through property, and this is a great way if you don't have that much funds, but you want to get into the industry and you've got the time. Most importantly, you need the time, and this is through property sourcing. So you're sourcing properties on behalf of investors. You're giving them the deal. You're negotiating that deal with the agent, and you're making sure they get a really good discount and a great service, and you're essentially doing that from start to finish, the investment journey for them on their behalf. A great way to get involved, and you can make some serious commissions. These rack up. So again, one thing to consider if you're looking to get into property and you don't have the funds, but you're willing to commit the time and the hard graft, property sourcing is a great option. So to recap, I think I've mentioned 16 ways now we can make money through property. Again, I've only touched upon them very, very briefly. Maybe I'll go into deep dive into a few of them in a few future videos in a bit more detail. I think that would help, and especially the ones that I do and I target. I really like title splitting. I like planning permission. I like the complex stuff that people don't do because there's less competition in those areas. But again, most people, they like the rental income like myself, and the capital appreciation is really important, buying in good areas. So I hope this video gives you an idea of what maybe, is best suited to you. Pick 2 or 3 strategies. What do you feel works well for you and matches your skill set? I'd be really interested to let me know. Please let me know in the comments which you're going to choose. And again, if you've got any questions on this, please don't hesitate to ask. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, YouTube tells me actually that the majority of people watching this video are not subscribed to the channel. So please do consider subscribing. I'm giving away a free flight. Once I hit 10,000 subscribers, I'll be choosing one at random. You'll be joining me in the cockpit and we'll be flying over Yorkshire together. So help me grow this channel, and I'll help you get a flying experience that you'll never forget. So thanks very much for watching, and I hope this video was of use.